What if Maul's Shadow Collective successfully overthrew the Republic? The Clone Wars raged on, but a third power had risen in the chaos, one that neither the Republic nor the Separatists had anticipated. Darth Maul, thought dead, had built an empire in the shadows. Mandalore had been his first conquest. Now, with the might of the Death Watch, the Pikes, the Black Sun, and the Hutts under his command, his Shadow Collective was a force unlike any other. And soon, it would eclipse them all. Coruscant remained blind to the danger. The Jedi focused their efforts on the war with the Separatists, failing to see the darkness growing in the underworld, until it was too late. The first attack came swift and mercilessly. The Jedi Council sent Master Ki-Adi-Mundi to investigate reports of Shadow Collective activity on Mygeeto. What awaited him was a slaughter. Mandalorian supercommandos, clad in Maul's crimson-marked armor, ambushed the Jedi General and his forces. Mundi fought valiantly, his saber cutting through the Mandalorian ranks. But Maul had learned from his past failures. He did not fight alone. Savage Opress descended upon the battlefield like an unstoppable force. The Dathomirian brute tore through clones with terrifying strength, his raw power shaking the very ground. Master Mundi fought until the last breath, but in the end, he was no match for two Sith warriors. His head rolled across the battlefield, the Jedi's light extinguished. And this was only the beginning. One by one, Maul set his sights on the Republic's greatest defenders. Luminara Unduli and her Padawan, Barriss Offee, were ambushed on Kashyyyk. A legion of Shadow Collective warriors surrounded them, their numbers overwhelming. Maul himself struck the final blow. With his double-bladed saber, he carved through Unduli's defenses, his speed and precision far exceeding the Jedi Masters. In her final moments, she gazed at Barriss. "Run," she whispered. Barriss did. She fled into the forests, but Maul's warriors hunted her down like prey. The Jedi were being eradicated. On Kamino, Shaak Ti prepared the clone defenses, believing that the greatest threat to the Republic was the Separatists. She was wrong. Savage Opress led the assault personally. His brute strength shattered the Republic's defenses. The Kaminoan cloning facilities burned. Shaak Ti fell in battle, impaled by Maul's blade. By the time the Republic truly understood the Shadow Collective's power, it was too late. Maul's forces were everywhere. Republic strongholds fell. Separatist-controlled planets were seized. The war was no longer between the Republic and the Separatists. It was between the Jedi and the Sith. And the Sith were winning. Desperation forced old enemies to reconsider their loyalties. With Maul's forces overwhelming the Outer Rim, both the Republic and the Separatists realized that they could not stand alone. A fragile truce was forged. Republic cruisers and Separatist battleships fought side by side, their commanders exchanging wary glances, their soldiers reluctant to fight alongside former enemies. But the alliance was doomed from the start. The distrust ran too deep. Republic commanders sabotaged Separatist operations, believing them to be double agents. The Separatists, equally suspicious, held back crucial reinforcements. Maul did not hesitate to exploit this weakness. He struck swiftly, targeting key Separatist strongholds first, crushing them before the Republic could intervene. Soon, the Separatists were no more. The Republic was next. The Republic's defenses collapsed system by system. Kamino had fallen. Mygeeto had fallen. Kashyyyk had fallen. Only the core worlds remained. Maul stood before a map of the galaxy, his forces tightening around Coruscant like a noose. But one obstacle remained. The Republic Senate still held power, and one figure stood at its heart, Senator Padme Amidala. If the Republic still had a soul, she was it. She was their last hope. And Maul would break her. A message was sent to the Republic Senate. A ceasefire. A chance for peace. Padme Amidala, ever the diplomat, saw hope in the offer. She did not know it was a trap. She arrived at the secret location, a neutral world at the edge of the core. The halls were silent. Then the recordings began. Holograms flickered to life, playing transmissions of Padme's capture, of her surrounded by Mandalorian warriors, of Maul's voice echoing through the chamber. And then, the message was sent to Anakin Skywalker. He saw the woman he loved, bound in chains. He heard her voice, pleading, desperate. Maul's voice followed. Your Republic is doomed, Skywalker. But you can still save her. The darkness whispered. Anakin stood alone in his quarters, his hands trembling. The holo recording looped again. Padme's voice. Her fear. Her desperation. Anakin clenched his fists. The Jedi had failed to stop Maul. The Republic was crumbling. If he stayed loyal to the Jedi, she would die. But if he helped Maul, she would live. The Republic would fall. But Padme would live. And in the end, that was all that mattered. Anakin Skywalker stood before the Jedi Council, his heart pounding as he delivered the information. I've learned that Maul has been sighted on Naboo, he said, forcing his voice to remain steady. This could be our chance to end his reign before it begins. Silence fell over the chamber. The council members exchanged glances. Yoda stroked his chin in thought. Dangerous, Maul has become. Deceptive, cunning. A trap, this could be. Obi-Wan nodded. Agreed. Maul wouldn't reveal his location unless he wanted us to know. Anakin clenched his fists. That's why I should go. I need to be there. Mace Windu narrowed his eyes. You are compromised, Skywalker. Your emotions cloud your judgment. I can still fight. No, Obi-Wan said gently. You must stay. If Maul has Padme, he'll be using her against you. That alone is proof enough that you cannot face him right now. Anakin's jaw tightened, but he said nothing. Yoda nodded. Go to Naboo, Kenobi, and I will. Obi-Wan placed a reassuring hand on Anakin's shoulder before turning to leave. As Yoda and Obi-Wan departed, Anakin felt something twisting deep inside him. Something dark. The attack on the Jedi Temple was swift and brutal. Mandalorian warriors, Death Watch commandos, and the Shadow Collective's forces stormed the sacred halls, cutting down Jedi where they stood. At the front of the battle stood Anakin Skywalker. His blue blade clashed against Mace Windu's purple saber, their duel sending shockwaves through the temple halls. You betrayed us, Skywalker. Mace growled, parrying a vicious strike. I'm saving her, Anakin spat. Maul promised me Padme would be safe. Maul lies. Windu roared, forcing Anakin back. You're being used. Anakin snarled and lunged forward, slamming his saber against Windu's guard. All around them, Maul's warriors had begun planting explosives throughout the temple. Anakin didn't know the details, but he did know one thing. Maul had given him the detonator. He had to end this. With a final, devastating push, Anakin sent Windu flying backward. Smoke filled the temple. Jedi bodies littered the halls. Then Anakin's fingers tightened around the detonator, and he pressed the button. Anakin stormed into Maul's throne room, his robes still scorched from the battle. "Where is she?" he demanded. Maul smirked, lounging on his throne like a king. "Ah, Skywalker, I see you've completed your task." Anakin's heart pounded. "Give her to me. Now." Maul rose from his throne, clasping his hands behind his back. "Oh, Anakin! You already have her." Anakin's breath caught. Something was wrong. Maul turned to a nearby holoprojector and activated it. The Jedi Temple, a caved-in prison cell, deep within its lower chambers, and inside, Padme Amidala. The realization struck him like a starship crashing into a planet. No. His knees buckled. His saber fell from his grip. Maul stepped forward, his voice dripping with mock sympathy. "You pressed the detonator, didn't you?" Anakin let out a guttural scream, his entire body trembling. The force around him spiraled out of control, waves of pure agony radiating from him. "You monster!" Maul chuckled. "Oh, Skywalker! You did this!" Anakin's vision blurred with rage, grief, hatred, and then a burning pain pierced through his back. His body jerked forward. His breath hitched. He looked down to see a crimson blade protruding from his chest. Savage Opress stood behind him, sneering. Anakin collapsed, choking on his own blood. His vision swam as Maul knelt beside him. "You had such promise," Maul whispered. "But I never intended to share my throne with you." Anakin reached forward weakly, trying to summon his saber. But the world faded. The Chosen One was no more. The fall of the Jedi Temple sent ripples through the Force, and Palpatine felt it. Deep within his Coruscant chambers, the Sith Lord scowled. Darth Maul had won. He could sense Anakin's death, the loss of the Jedi Temple, the Republic's crumbling foundation. This was not how he had foreseen things. Sidious clenched his fists, rage burning in his yellow eyes. He had spent decades crafting his plan, and now another Sith had claimed the galaxy. No, no, this was not the end. He would wait, plot, manipulate from the shadows. One day, he would return. Far from Coruscant, on the once peaceful world of Naboo, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yoda stood amidst the ruins of Theed. The trap had failed. Maul had underestimated them. But Coruscant had fallen. Yoda closed his eyes, listening to the Force. Obi-Wan's mind reeled. He had felt Anakin's death through their bond. The boy he had trained, the one destined to bring balance, gone. "What do we do now, Master Yoda?" The ancient Jedi turned his gaze to the stars. "The Force, calling to us, it is." Obi-Wan frowned. "Calling?" Yoda nodded. "To the unknown regions, we must go." "The unknown regions?" Yoda's eyes glowed with deep understanding. "There, answers we may find. A path forward, the Force shall show." Obi-Wan swallowed hard. He knew that Maul's rule had already begun, that bounty hunters would soon be searching for him. But if the Force was guiding them elsewhere, they had no choice but to follow. And so, with heavy hearts, the last of the Jedi departed into the unknown. From his throne on Mandalore, Maul looked over the galaxy he had conquered. The Republic had fallen. The Jedi were dead. The Empire never came to be. He had won. And yet, as he stared into the darkness of space, he felt something. A disturbance. The future was uncertain. But one thing was clear. The Shadow Collective reigned supreme. For now. Drop the scenarios you would like to see in the comments, and I will pick one every week. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one.